All different kind of strange reasons wound up into one. It wasn't right. It was right, but there was something, like you had the wrong pair of shoes or something. It was wrong.
It was July 23, 2025, when the world of rock held its breath. Stevie Nicks, the ethereal songbird of Fleetwood Mac, stepped into the glare of the spotlight and struck a chord far deeper than any harmony. In that electric moment, she tore away decades of myth to expose Ozzy Osbourne's darkest secret, and nothing would ever be the same. Picture this: a fog-soaked Los Angeles club in 1979 where destiny hid in the swirl of cigarette smoke and neon haze. Stevie Nicks glided through the crowd like a moonbeam, her voice yet untamed. Ozzy Osbourne lurked by the bar, a thunderbolt just waiting to strike. Their eyes locked, a moment suspended in electric silence, two souls forged from opposite storms. She carried a calm precision honed by moonlit ballads. He burned with reckless chaos born of Sabbath's fury. In that charged heartbeat, harmony and havoc intertwined, and the world held its breath, oblivious to the earthquake their collision would ignite. As their careers climbed toward superstardom, tension ignited like flint on steel. Recording studios, hallowed halls of creation, transformed into war zones where Ozzy's wild, spontaneous riffs thundered into Stevie's carefully woven tapestries of melody. Imagine a late night in Muscle Shoals. Dim lights flicker over twisted cables as Ozzy, buzzing with reckless energy, sweeps aside Stevie's delicate harmonies with a savage grin. In one heart-stopping moment, he rips apart her carefully layered vocals, demanding new lyrics on the spot. Her eyes flash with hurt and fury as the fragile beauty of her song splinters beneath his mercurial whim. Their feud erupted in a cyclone of shattered wood and raw emotion, guitars hurled across rooms, amps silenced by the crash of fury. Words, once whispered in cooperative hope, now flew like shrapnel. Vows to never share a stage again echoed through empty corridors. Yet beneath the anger lay something more elemental, a dark fascination that bound them in creative torment. Each clash carved new depth into their artistry, a paradox of destruction birthing unspoken inspiration. But even as they teetered on the brink of a groundbreaking duet, another force slammed the door shut: Sharon Osbourne's fierce jealousy. Alarmed by Stevie's magnetic pull on Ozzy's creativity and the threat it posed to her own role, Sharon allegedly sabotaged studio time, rerouted session bookings, and whispered doubts into Ozzy's ear about Stevie's intentions. Behind the veneer of rock royalty, a domestic power play unfolded, proving that sometimes the greatest battles happen far from the stage lights.
It's all what I said before. It's all been really good, and the people have been really good, and all the energy that's gone into it, which is a lot of different, Jimmy Iovine's energy.
This was no polite disagreement. It was an all-out assault on each other's very souls. The gentle moonlit precision of Stevie's ballads collided with Ozzy's storm of chaos, forging a tension so electric it crackled in the air. And though they vowed to part ways, the echoes of that creative battle lingered in every chord, every sigh of a song that bore the scars of their shared collision. But the storms of their feud were not confined to empty corridors. They erupted under the brightest lights as Ozzy's solo triumphs ignited a ferocious media firestorm where adoration and vilification clashed in a relentless battle. Ozzy's solo triumphs ignited a ferocious media storm where adoration and vilification waged a relentless battle. Critics, once awestruck by his Sabbath legacy, sharpened their pens into daggers, declaring him a relic marooned in his own legend. Tabloids, sensing blood, feasted on every misstep. Cancelled shows became scandalous betrayals, slurred interviews painted him as a broken king, and paparazzi lurked like vultures, eager to capture his public unraveling. Behind the velvet ropes, tensions with promoters and managers exploded in volcanic anger. Deals dissolved in fits of rage, phone lines crackled with veiled threats, and contracts were shredded in dimly lit back rooms when Ozzy's unpredictable whims collided with corporate demands. Even rock royalty proved vulnerable. Alice Cooper's poker-faced calm clashed with Ozzy's fiery outbursts, while Lemmy Kilmister's no-nonsense loyalty buckled under threats of sabotage. Their whispered feuds became industry legend, stories traded in hushes over whiskey, of fistfights in hotel corridors and midnight ambushes backstage. By day, he was hailed as a living icon. By night, a fugitive of his own fame, hunted by the tabloids he once courted. Each headline, each scathing review, fed the cycle of defiance and despair, a combustible mix that only Ozzy could live through and survive. Critics may have called him finished, but with every bruising confrontation, he emerged anew, scars blazing in the limelight like battle medals of a life lived on the edge. Behind the gates of the Osbourne estate, luxury masked turmoil. Drugs and alcohol tore him from Sharon's side, turning gilded halls into battlegrounds. Each relapse became a public spectacle. Custody whispers and clandestine flings splashed across tabloids, yet in fleeting hospital corridors, glimpses of the man he once was flickered. You've probably heard of the bat-biting stunt in 1982, a moment that seared its way into rock lore, but few grasped the full horror and majesty of that night. Picture an arena plunged into darkness, Ozzy's silhouette illuminated only by a single spotlight as he lunged and sank his teeth into a live bat's leathery wing. Blood splattered the stage, fans screamed in disbelief, and the Prince of Darkness looked down at his prize with a triumphant sneer. It was spectacle and savagery fused in one unforgettable act. Yet the true carnage waited years later when the IRS came calling. In 1997, Ozzy faced an onslaught of court summons and cold, merciless audits that demanded $5.3 million in back taxes. Imagine him in a sterile courtroom, neon pyrotechnics replaced by harsh fluorescent lights, his polished stage armor stripped away to reveal a man trembling under the weight of financial ruin. Reporters circled like vultures as he navigated legal briefs instead of lyric sheets. These twin scandals, one born of reckless bravado, the other of fiscal desperation, revealed the duality at Ozzy's core, a fearless rebel who could both terrify and beg for mercy. The world watched as he teetered between idol and outcast, a man whose darkest moments only deepened the mythos surrounding him. And though the bat's wing and the IRS's verdict might have broken others, Ozzy emerged with new scars and a renewed hunger to reclaim his throne. From the ashes of his fiercest battles, Ozzy rose again, scarred but unbroken. On December 12, 2007, shadows and light erupted onto the world stage, its chords igniting concert halls from London to Los Angeles. Picture Wembley Stadium packed to the rafters, 75,000 hearts pounding as Ozzy's voice shattered the night, a triumphant roar that seemed to defy every downfall that came before. Yet victory carried its own scars. The world tour that followed was a crucible. 120 cities in 14 relentless months, each night a test of endurance and will. In Tokyo, under a blaze of neon and steel, the unthinkable happened. Mid-verse, Ozzy's once thunderous cry trembled into a fragile whisper, a tremor announcing the price of years spent wrestling demons backstage. Fans gasped as he clutched the mic stand, sweat and regret streaking his face like battle paint. Behind the scenes, exhaustion and obsession warred within him. Suppliers of vintage amplifiers whispered of Ozzy's late-night studio returns, where he chased perfect takes through a haze of exhaustion and leftover painkillers. Each dawn saw him emerge more gaunt, eyes hollowed by insomnia and self-confrontation. Yet, his spirit refused to break. Each falter on stage was met by a surge of defiance. He would not let the darkness claim him. In the silence between encores, whispers of old feuds resurfaced. Tony Iommi's offhand remark about trademark rights, Alice Cooper's veiled warning of betrayal, promoters still smarting from contracts torn apart in fits of rage. All lingered like ghosts in the wings, reminders that even redemption demanded its toll. And through it all, Ozzy carried on, his voice a battered sword, his resilience a rallying cry. His journey from near destruction back to the spotlight was more than a comeback. It was a testament to a warrior whose fiercest battles were not fought before cheering masses, but within the shadows of his own making. The instant Stevie's confession echoed into the world, the digital air crackled with shock and disbelief. Picture a sea of screens lighting up in unison as #Ozzy Exposed blazed across timelines, each post a thunderclap of revelation. Friends and rivals alike abandoned caution, flooding feeds with whispered admissions and hidden memories that clawed at the shadows of Ozzy's dominion. Behind the scenes, his closest allies scrambled like generals facing an unexpected assault. Managers pored over crisis plans in frantic late-night meetings, while promoters weighed the unthinkable, canceling stadium tours. Brands once eager to brandish his name now dipped their toes back, their logos slipping from billboards like tarnished metals. Yet even as defenses crumbled, a chorus of voices rose with defiance. Survivors of rock's darker chapters, roadies, session musicians, and long silent friends stepped forward, their stories splintering the facade. They spoke of whispered threats backstage, of loyalties purchased and broken, their words painting an ecosystem built on reverence and fear. The fandom itself fractured in a heartbeat. Some clung fiercely to nostalgia, brandishing tattered vinyl and concert wristbands in defiant homage. Others, newly awakened, scoured dusty archives for clues of betrayal hidden between liner notes. Midnight live streams dissected every lyric, every interview, hunting for signs that might prove Stevie's claims true. Through it all, the question lingered like a haunting refrain. If the architect of so many anthems could harbor such darkness, what truths lay buried in the walls of every rock sanctuary? In that charged moment, heavy metal's heartbeat skipped, and no one could predict whether it would rebound in triumph or dissolve into echoes of regret. Ozzy Osbourne's story is one of raw electricity and relentless turmoil, a testament to the man who wielded darkness like a weapon and shattered every boundary in his path. From the smoky clubs of Birmingham to stadiums bathed in pyrotechnics, his voice carved a place in music history. His missteps, bats bitten, billions evaded, relationships fractured, are inseparable from his triumphs. Each scandal a brushstroke and a masterpiece painted with equal parts chaos and charisma. Tonight's revelation by Stevie Nicks does not diminish the legend. It reshapes it. Legends are not defined by absence of flaw, but by the scars they bear and the heights they ascend despite them. As Ozzy stands amid the embers of both adoration and outrage, his legacy burns brighter for its authenticity. He remains the Prince of Darkness, a figure forged in fire, whose truths, once hidden, now illuminate the complex tapestry of rock and roll itself.